And welcome back to another exciting episode of the Indie Credible Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Xander Scullion, and joined with me, good old Jeffrey Woodhagen. What's up, Jeff? How's it going today?
I am here. I am exhausted. And you have announcements going on your phone? I heard it ding. Oh yeah, what's the ding, Xander? I do a lot of reviewers now.
Freaking emails. It was just Nintendo being like, "Hey, Xander, we think you're awesome." I'm like, "Giving me a Switch too? What's going on?" No, I'm just kidding.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. Now it's been a wild week and a half because the viewers, the listeners won't know, but like we record in advance, and I actually just got back from traveling for spring break, which was technically a business trip, and it was freaking crazy. And I'm still like sore a little bit from what I had to do. So for those that aren't aware, I recently just had to move my entire warehouse from up in Chicago down to where I'm going to eventually retire in Florida. And so the books all got freight shipped. Now, how many books do you estimate or think I might have, Xander?
How about like each four?
Four? How about instead of doing the number of books, do weight amount? How much do you think that all weighed?
I actually know the answer. I need to see. You showed it to me.
It was just low. So here's the thing, to put things into perspective. In the military, in the Army, I move, right? My household goods get weighed every time we move. And at my rank grade time in the service, I can move 14,000 pounds of household goods without incurring charges. When we moved from Hawaii over here to Texas for the training that I'm in, it was 11,000 pounds. I just moved last week 18,000 pounds of books. And the thing is, there's a store, of course, Xander, which is great. It is ridiculous. So I go out there to Florida. My buddy Scott, who also helped with conventions when I ran Premium, he is living down there where my wife already wants to retire. So that is like perfect. And he said he would help me ship out books. But I said, hey, when the receiving comes, I'm going to go meet you down there. We can line it up with my daughter's spring break, and we can make a thing of it. Go to Busch Gardens. So the day before the order, we did go to Busch Gardens, and 2 of the 10 like roller coasters were running, just 2.
Oh wow!
And so we waited in line for like an hour or so to go on the first one, which was cool. We actually went to one near the back of the park, and it was fun. So then we go, and like everyone we're going to is closed. We go to this one where it's like a little turny one. It says, oh, like a 60-minute wait, which we're like, okay, that's about what the other one was. 4 hours later, we finally got on the roller coaster. Yeah. And so we're like, at that point, we're like, okay, so that's 2 roller coasters. We left.
Yeah, but then I mean, how long is the ride? Like, it's a roller coaster, so it's fast. So it's like, bada bing, bada boom, like 4 hours of wait for like 30 seconds of like, woohoo!
That was it. And my daughter was not impressed, to say the least. Like, it was bad. But so the funny thing is, so I look on my phone app, right, at the weather, and every day in Florida super sunny except for Monday. 90 to 100% chance of thunderstorms and rain in the time frame when the books are being delivered. So we're both like, of course it's gonna rain when I'm moving print books and paper and cardboard. And so it was wild. So we go there super early in the morning, an hour before the driver says they're gonna be there, because they give you like this long range when you're doing a freight shipment. And how it works is they'll load the books by pallet onto a semi truck. So they put it onto a semi truck, and I let them know, hey, we won't have a shipping dock at this storage unit. We're going to need a lift gate. And I said, we're going to need a pallet jack. What we didn't know is that the pallets would fit through the door of the storage unit, the exit door. So we were like, we may have to offload all of these books. And, it's at the time, not 16,000 pounds of books. But it was supposed to be 8,000 pounds of books. Half were supposed to go to me, and half were supposed to go to one of the other authors, Tristan from Video Game Bullshit. His books were supposed to go to him. But it was like a last minute request that we did. So there was a chance they were going to jack it up. And Scott and I had anticipated, okay, we'll probably get all the books. They're probably going to mess that up because over the last 10 years I've used this company. They have not been the brightest crayons in the box, Xander. They have not been the brightest. So anyways, we get there in the morning. Pouring freaking rain, but we go inside the storage unit. I actually got some shelving so we could put odds and ends on some shelves. We built those. And then lo and behold, the sun shines down and the rain went away. And then the truck came. And so this truck comes, this really, really old dude that's the driver comes out, and he goes to help us out or whatever, and we look at it, and all the pallets, when he opens it up, it's packed all the way to the brim, and all the pallets are sideways. So you work at a grocery store, Xander. So imagine using, and he brings a manual pallet jack. So imagine side loaded, you can't get the little things underneath it, and it's packed all the way to the edge. So how are we supposed to get the we can't whittle it out. They're jammed in there. And the lift gate that he brought on the truck was thinner than the actual pallets.
Oh, that's not good.
And each of these pallets weighs a ton. 1,000 pounds is what, 1 to 2,000 pounds, whatever that is, that number is a ton. They were all over a ton. And so, yeah, the first thing this guy, I could tell that he had not loaded his own thing, because he goes to like lift up the pallet to pull it out. And I'm like, it's literally a ton. This old man is not going to lift up a pallet. Like, even if it was unloaded, he wouldn't lift up the pallet, let alone with a ton of books. But either way, though, we used the thing, wedged it in there, palleted it up, put a piece of wood underneath it so we could slide under, pulled it out. I'm over there like holding it as he's trying to do it so it doesn't fall, like just tip over and fall as we get him down. And so we get the first one down and off. And I go to check the door, because I'm the one who's going to wheel it from the truck to the storage unit. And thank goodness it fits in the door. So at that point, we can like wheel them all into the spots and fix it all up. But I go off for the second one, and the guy goes, oh, my back. Oh. And so I had to unload the remainder of the entire order. And so once you get one, you can kind of maneuver the pallet jack. And I'm sitting there, and you have to push it out and then spin it, so that way the pallet doesn't fall off, and it can actually, because the front is wider than the other way. Yeah. So I'm sitting there like this, one arm pushing the thing down, holding a ton of books with one arm. And Scott's like off to the side to make sure it doesn't tip over, and so it doesn't crush him. And we're like, we're not legally supposed to do this, because they're liable if we got injured. So I'm like,
hey, Skype agrees with you. It's giving the thumbs up. Like, hey, you're not allowed to show us.
Thumbs down. But yeah, dude. So anyways, like, I do the whole thing, and we so the pallets on the they give you like a bill of lading or like a little receipt, right, when they give you a shipment. I look on there, and it shows like, oh, this one's Nintendo books, this one's Super Nintendo books, this one is Video Game Field Guide. And so I look, and that's how we sorted them, because they sent us 2 full orders, we had to get 2 full storage units. Luckily, the one right next to us was open, so again, in. Good luck along with the weather. So I put them all in there. We look at the pallets as we start to open up the stuff after the trucker leaves, and they're all jacked up. They are not like, so if it says there's 500 books, it's like random books just tossed in there. We called them fuckery. We called them fuckery. And they were just big old boxes that had tons of books just tossed in them. Like, no, not even sorted. Some of them were damaged. And so we had to end up unloading the entire shipment again and re-sort it all out so that way we can like somewhat confirm that they sent us. And we didn't have time to count every single like item, but to confirm. Like, this shit was crazy. The thing was, as soon as the trucker left, poured rain again. Like, we had like an opening. So anyways, we found out we had enough time to go grab some food, and then there was a second shipment coming of 2,000 pounds. That's where I got to the 18,000 pounds. And this was the some of them that were coming from Premium, that were my books that Premium had. And so it was like the Switch Collector Year 1 that I have on the website now. And the funny thing is, so the rain eventually stops because it was supposed to stop in the afternoon. He got there like in the afternoon, which was the time frame. So he was right in the time frame. And this dude shows up, right? Normal truck. Dude has a giant lift gate and an electric fucking pilot jack. And we're like, oh my gosh, it's like this guy's in the late 1900s now, and we can freaking move this. Like, he just like, oh yeah, no problem. Puts it in there and he's done. And we're like, this would have saved me my knees and my back. Like it was super freaking easy. But the thing is, the reason why I did this move from the warehouse, outside of, the fact that I'm going to have the books in my possession, is the shipping over the last 10 years has been spotty, because this same warehouse that didn't know how to pack pallets, used to just toss the book in a box with a piece of paper. And I would literally call them, oh, we won't do that again. We'll put notes that says bubble wrap, all this stuff. And they wouldn't bubble wrap. And so, eventually they've been raising their prices to the point where I can't keep them there. Think about them charging me over $1,000 a month just to hold the books there. And I can't afford that. That would have to come into that would have to go into the price of the books. And I'm not charging people more for the books so that now the books will be handled by, me directly with Scott, of course, and they'll be packed perfectly. And we could throw in extra goodies. So it's a perfect storm, well worth me doing the business trip to go out there. And now everybody's going to get better shipping prices, better packaging, and more personalized. So literally red carpet treatment, was the idea. And as soon as I'm able to retire and move over to Florida, I will be handling it all myself. But it was cool shit, fun. And then I found out, of course, that same day right after we finished, that the Genesis books are now in. And so those should be delivered in the next week or so, the hardcovers, not the paperbacks, but the hardcovers. And then those will go they have to be received at the warehouse. And then those backer kit backers and Kickstarter backers will get their books. But my travels weren't over, and I actually did have a cool video gaming thing. So after Florida, we actually went to where we planned to go for spring break, which we flew from Orlando to my brother's in Houston. And we decided, or we were linking up with my niece, who we haven't seen forever, and her daughter and everything. My niece is in her 30s. And so we go to a place, she said, it's called Cidercade. Have you heard of a Cidercade before?
It sounds like a barcade, but with
ciders, exactly. And so this place was huge. It was comparable to a non-packed version of Galloping Ghost Arcade in Illinois. Galloping Ghost, the biggest one in the world. This one was huge. It had tons of games, lots of modern stuff. People were everywhere. It's $12 to play all day, everything free play. And then ciders and pizza. And it was amazing. The ciders were delicious, all from a local place, and they had them on tap, and I got a lot of cider in me, played a lot of games. It was badass. And my daughter was just sitting there, she didn't want to go. And so she's literally played one driving game. And I'm like, really? And she's like, we didn't do anything on vacation. I'm like, we literally went to a cidercade. We had awesome, but the next day we went game hunting, like right before, because I was like Friday, I was gonna leave, and so there was a dude that I heard at this place called Trader's Village in Houston. And there was this place that my brother said that this dude has TurboGrafx 16 games. And I'm like, oh. And so he called me, and this is like a week or two before I left. He calls me and says, hey, I'm with the dude right now. What games do you want? He mentions the games. Okay, these are the ones that I'm interested in. And mind you, I haven't seen my full Turbo collection in years because it's in my storage with Barney. So I was guesstimating. This dude, like, he said, hold on. He starts Googling it. He starts doing the, going on price charting and doing the Google. It took forever. And then he's like, top dollar, doesn't even take off for the shipping or anything. And so this is the guy that my brother says, oh, he's available because Trader's Village was closed on Friday. He's like, he's available. He'll meet us there. And I was like, huh, interesting. So my brother and I, we went to lunch because the dude says he's like 45 minutes out, but he'll drive in. And so I'm like, because this guy assumed that he's going to get a huge, crazy sale. I mean, I'm looking for deals all the time.
Right.
Yeah. So, but the thing was, I didn't meet him because he has turbo games. He has boxed turbo games. Ooh. Not the jewel cases, the outer boxes too. And so I was like,
word to come by.
I've never seen a lot of the outer boxes. There's only one time, and this segues into what I was able to do. There was one time I went to Retro World Expo in Connecticut, the same guys that run SoCal Gaming Expo. And this guy had a full sealed TurboGrafx 16 collection, except for one game. And I found out that this guy at Trader's Village had the one game. And I might have it right here for the store. And so I go there and I say, hey, I have a lot of these games. Would you split the boxes from the rest? I already have these games. And he's like, he thinks about it and, thinking he just drove 45 minutes in. I may not buy them. So he's like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. And I'm like, cool. And now keep in mind, I know that this dude uses price charting and solds on eBay. If you're not aware, eBay has changed their algorithm. It's terrible to search for right now. And price charting uses stuff like eBay solds, and price charting is jacked up because of the eBay algorithm. So the stuff he's going to look at is going to be very general. And so these boxes, he's not going to give me good estimates. So I end up getting about 4 or 5 boxes. And there was one box. This box I've never seen in 20 years in person. This is the one box that was not part of the sealed turbo set. And it's one that doesn't come with a jewel case. This guy had a jewel case in it. So he didn't even know he had a reproduction jewel case in there. It's this game, Newtopia 2.
Oh, yes. Nice.
And it's a little blurry on my camera, but Newtopia 2 got the outer box. Now, this game, I bought the one from the sealed guy, but he didn't have the outer box. So the tray is in here because he had an extra tray just sitting there and he didn't know what to do with it, the extra tray. And he charged me because he couldn't find any, obviously, on eBay. He charged me like a couple $100 or $100. I think it was like $100 or something. And the thing is, it's $100, but it's thousands.
Yeah.
So
for the listeners that don't collect for like TurboGrafx or PC Engine, like finding the jewel cases is not a big deal, but the cardboard, because a lot of people threw the cardboard away.
Well, exactly. And it had a jewel case, which fit the manual and everything. So the thing is, looking at it, if you look at it really closely, there's a lot of love with this. There's like little creases and all that. Now, I don't collect minty stuff. I like well-loved games. I like stuff that has a little patina on it. So, and I'm okay with that. I'm not going to pay brand new minty prices, which is, again, want a deal. But I'm okay with that. Now, I bought these. These just came in like the other day. I bought the box protectors because I'm like, oh, I don't have any turbo box protectors. I never come across them. So I bought a set on eBay of box protectors. They're less than $1 a piece. So less than $1. Now it forms perfectly on the shelf when you put it on the shelf because it's a perfect form. It has protection so it won't get any further wear damage on it. And now I have a box for my Newtopia 2 when I get my collection back. Seal. It's like minty. My minty Newtopia 2 now is flawless.
I
And
still need to dive more into that game. The Utopia 1, I loved it. It was like freaking Zelda. I
yeah.
love that series.
And this one is too. And what I call Newtopia 1 and Newtopia 2 is Zelda, the sequel to Zelda, if they had not moved to A Link to the Past with all the crazy stuff. It is like traditional first Zelda, but better 16-bit ish graphics. I say ish because technically Turbo is an 8-bit, but it's 16 generation. But that's what it is. And then there's actually been talk in like some of the groups on Turbo. There was supposed to be a Newtopia 3. And and it was never released. And I was like, well, maybe that one would have been where they like pivoted to the, Link to the Past style. Because Link to the Past is my favorite of the classic Zelda formula. It's like perfect for me. And Utopia 1 and Utopia 2 are like some of the best games because you just get all these upgrades for your swords, and all the different boss fights are awesome. Patterns are great. Like I love the Utopia series. And to me, the boxed version of this is rarer than Magical Chase. Magical Chase is the most expensive game on the TurboGrafx 16. To me, I've seen Magical Chase though a lot. The sealed had a Magical Chase box. I've never seen the box for Utopia 2 in person until that day. So I was like, so I saw that one. Now I did add, I think I got Dragon's Curse, which is like the Wonder Boy series, but they called it Dragon's Curse. I got Utopia 1, and Alien Crush Pinball. I got those the boxes only again, but I got the boxes to complete that series. So now I'm like, I told my wife Andrea, I'm like, well, now I'm down this rabbit hole. So because what was crazy though is the store we went to before was a Japanese store, and I saw them at Classic Game Fest, and like I bought some games from them. They had a sealed Deep Blue for the PC Engine CD, the PC Engine. So I think it's a cue card, not a CD. But that's a shoot 'em up. And so they had that sealed. So I got a sealed Japanese PC Engine game, and then I got Newtopia 2 in the same day. In the same, like, Houston is still a cool area to go hunt for games. Then none of the stuff was like $1, but the deals are out there, especially when you got a reseller, dirty reseller. I nothing against dirty resellers because you got to make also that's cool. But if you're going to use the lazy way of just using price charting and doing a sold, I told him, what do you want? I didn't even talk him down. Like, okay, that's what we'll do. Because I'm like, but I know that he's got to do further research to price his actual games realistically. He has to take the time. He didn't want to take the time. He just threw them in his little flea market case and, I'm going to look them up for you, and made me wait a while too. So I'm like, all right, I'll pay the waiting tax. And he gave me the price. And then my brother got a modded Vita, which you put a lot of indie games on it. And I talked a lot about deals, so I'm trying to give you some segue opportunities here, Sam. But what have you been up to before we jump on that?
Yes, I haven't really been playing that many games this week because the weather's been really nice. So I've been enjoying the weather, going outside and touching grass.
You don't go outside. Don't lie to people.
But yeah, I've been going outside touching grass, and it's just been busy at work. But with that being said, this is a very special episode because, like you were saying, talking about deals, this is what this episode is all going to be about. It's all going to be about the deals that's going on at this moment. If we're recording this because we got the spring sale with Steam, and quite a games.
Well, and it was perfect too, because just like you, I didn't have time to do any playing while I was traveling because I was hanging out with family and stuff. So the fact that, and this isn't necessarily the Steam's spring sale, this is the Steam's spring sale in conjunction with my crazy wish list. And all these games we're going to talk about at one point were under $2. At the time of this recording, some of them went back up to the regular price, but like the first one here, I had already bought the first game, and then the 2-pack was under $2, and it's wild.
Yeah, we actually mentioned this game in a previous episode, the first one, and then I
They didn't beat it.
Yeah. This is 100 Pumpkins 1 and 2, which is like a very on Atari Atari inspired. But what about part two? Is part two just like?
Well, that's what I was saying. Well, and I didn't know this until like for the episode. 100 Pumpkins 1 is Atari style. 100 Pumpkins 2 looks like NES. And it looks amazing. There's giant bosses. There's like tons of like I mean like the graphics look great. It has like color to it and animation and everything. Like part 2 is excellent.
Wow.
So I am going to need to play part 2 so I can enjoy the time. And this is this is developed by Jeremiah Stilts. And it's the only 2 games that he has done. The part 2 was released in December of 23, and currently it is on sale for 25% off for 1 and 2 bundle for $4.48. So it did go up a little bit in price, but still $4 for 2 games, 2 platformers. I wouldn't consider them Metroidvanias. It does say action Metroidvania in the thing. It does have the map. But the first, at least from the first one, the second one may have Metroidvania. The first one was more of an exploratory platformer, and it was fun as shit. It was great. So
I'll have to check it out because I mean, 100 Pumpkins looked like a lot of fun. Like it had that classic Atari style. And you know what's really interesting is I was kind of looking at the next game because I had no idea that this was actually an Amiga game, but brutal next chapter of Amiga's legendary beat 'em up, Franco and the Crazy Revenge is here. This is a sequel called Skinny and Franco Fist of Violence. And dude, this looks dope.
it looks,
A demo.
dude, it looks so cool.
It does. That hand-drawn kind of work to it. You know, it kind of made me think of the way the way they move and stuff. It kind of made me think of like a better version of like Pit Fighter.
Okay. Yeah, because like there is, but it's definitely a classic beat 'em up. The art style has that cartoonish look to it. And it's a $19 game.
Yeah.
Currently $19. I got it for under $2. So I think there was some kind of crazy ass sale when I bought it that was like under 90% off. Like so keep in mind, everyone, that you can be patient with some of these games and they will come down in sale if you are budget minded. But I also recommend supporting all the indie developers too. So if any of these games look awesome, you definitely gotta check them out.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I always just add it to the wish list because you know you never know when that like Steam's gonna have some crazy sale going on and sometimes the games randomly go on sale. So I always add it to my wish list so I get notified because there's times that you know a $20 game they're like, hey, there's a sale right now and it's like $9.99. I'm like, oh hell yeah, and I'll go ahead and check it out.
I would say that this developer's less indie than some others. They have a lot of games. There's this game, Tiny Hands Adventure. That's a little like T-Rex looking 3D platformer that they did in 2018, and I think that is a Switch physical. So they're not super indie. There's also a game, I know I covered it in the Switch either year 1 or year 2 part 1 called Glaive the Brick Breaker, which is like an Arkanoid style game that was on Switch that was a digital only. So I definitely heard of those games. I'm gonna look at the other one. And yeah, then the other, so one of these guys might be the digital publisher, and then the other one might be the digital developer. But there's Thief Simulator, there's Madness Beverage, like they've done some games. So, but yeah, I have not played Franco the Crazy Revenge on the Amiga. The fact that it is a sequel, next brutal chapter of that series makes it cool because it's like, you know, a continuation of a unknown for us ugly uneducated Americans, because in Europe maybe they know what this game is, but it's cool that it's just part of a series because that's not something that we get every day, right?
Yeah, it's that. I mean, for us, the Amiga's kind of obscure because we weren't really, or at least I wasn't. I'll say I wasn't really that uh known. I didn't know that much about it growing up. So yeah, this was like,
and like for me, I grew up with a Commodore 64 in my house. So like we had the Atari, and then my brother, he's 10 years older than me, so he was like in high school era. He bought a Commodore 64. I think my parents said if he paid for half of it with like his after school jobs, they would buy him the Commodore 64. So we had it in the house. We played the Commodore, and if those that aren't aware, the Commodore graphically is like between the Atari and the NES. And a lot of the ports of Commodore that went to NES were those games where you had to press up to jump, and they were very frustrating on the NES. Those were Commodore ports. The Ghostbusters game, that's a direct Commodore like style game. So the Amiga is like between the 8-bit and the 16-bit. And so the Amiga is impressive. And, because they had the PC powerhouse, like you could have even beyond 16-bit on some games. So, but we never had a Commodore Amiga, none of that. Like that was more, I guess, more UK, more British PC scene. But they definitely had them here, but it just wasn't as popular as the Commodore 64.
And I think this is a great segue, speaking of like games over the pond, because this game also looks very UK and PC inspired, and it looked right up my alley. I'm like, this looks pretty cool. Below the Ocean, which is at this moment, a $6 game. There is a bundle. I do want to mention there is a bundle that comes with 3 games: Below the Ocean, Boom Room, and some sort of like Turtle Starflower Harvest.
It's Tuttle, I think. I don't think there's an R. I think it's 2 T's. Tuttle.
Tuttle, yeah. Tuttle Starflower Harvest. You can get all 3 games right now for like $15. But what'd you think about this?
So this is like a precision platform, like a little puzzle game. It's like you're underwater, obviously, with below the ocean, but you're like attached to like an oxygen with like a little line, and you guys solve puzzles to get through each little section. And the graphics, they look like the ZX Spectrum, which is, you mentioned in the British PC craze and all that, like Atari style, but the ZX Spectrum specifically was like black backgrounds with a few solid colors and precision controls. And that's what the ZX Spectrum was known for. Never had one. I have played it now on the FPGA consoles and stuff, and the games are definitely an acquired taste. The originals with all the loading and everything. But playing modern inspired games by it is so fun. And this game just looks really good. It's made by Ishmael Rodriguez. It was released in 2021. The fact that it's $6 is not too bad. It's very worth adding it to the list of your background. Let's see what else Ishmael worked on. If it might be just those games that we talked about already. It's those games that we already talked about, are the games that he released: the Tuttle and Boom.
Okay, Boom Room. You can get his whole catalog right now for less than $20 on Steam. That's awesome.
Get the whole thing from that developer. And that's the thing, though, is that like some of these games, like I came across them, they're in this list because I literally bought them all together for every one of these games cost me less than $20, all of them. And like that's the genius of Steam, is that you can build these wish lists, they do these great sales, and then you support the developers all at the same time, and they get a giant amount of sales because everybody's buying all their stuff, and it builds that confidence in what they do, which is amazing.
Yeah, this next game I thought looked really interesting because it's got kind of like that Game Boy kind of aesthetic to it.
Very much so. Overbowed. And this one's a Metroidvania for sure. As you mentioned, Game Boy aesthetics, but for me, Super Game Boy vibes. So when you plug her into the Super Game Boy, because they have like the color palettes, like the different palettes of the Game Boy Two Tones. It's so cool. And like that, if you look at it, you play as like a little skull guy, and or do you play no, you play as a little knight guy, but you fight the skull guy, because there's like a little picture when you look up the games, like a skull dude. But you play as like a little knight. There's like one of the major bosses. It looks really cool though, is the skull that you fight. It just looks very well animated on a Game Boy. So you have like the minimalist Game Boy Color style aesthetics, but then like the little puffs of smoke when you're attacking, and all the little things have like personality to them, which is really, really dope. Released 2024, right? May.
Yeah.
And there's 2 developers, so I want to see, because there's like one name that says like Suwami. Yeah. Ticket of the WMAC Masters Tsunami. There's an old one for you. But looks like
Doesn't look like they've done too much. They do have a game that's coming out though. I do see that.
the digital publisher has which is Clardonyx Digital, as a flightless Fables dungeon crawling platformer that looks bright and cool too. So that's the thing though. I like that we do that extra level of digging just to highlight, because we're just doing like the who's who, what's cool, what's out. And yeah, man, there's still quite a few games on this list.
Yeah, and I mean, and there is a demo to over bowed if you want to check it out. There is a demo out right now. But yeah,
How much was that game too?
it's like $8.99. So like
$9.99. Yeah, and again, the last sale was 100% under $2, because every game that I got was some of these games were $1 when it went on sale. Like, it's crazy. And because Xander and I have so many games in our wish list, like, that's how we do. We just added a ton of games, and then when stuff pops up, either we talk about it and we buy it, or it's super sales, I just automatically buy it. That's like my auto. Under $2, I auto buy them all. I don't know if you've seen this next one though, man. This next game in the list. Holy crap.
You know what it made me think of? Good, and this kind of goes back to us talking about the TurboGrafx 16. This make you pick a samurai ghost.
Okay, yes. Because like the graphics are like huge. Character has red hair, like in Samurai, I guess. Little bit of legendary action there too, because this is an action hack and slash. What is it? Callie's mirror. Callie's mirror. I don't know. Why? Like, it looks so cool, and it's like you have this character with a giant axe, and you're just hacking and slashing your way through levels, and the graphics are like have that turbo graphics, Neo Geo style, like giant, like pixel graphics to it, which I love. And there's gore and blood. We never have enough gore and blood.
Yeah, and it looks like it has some like action RPG elements because you do have to upgrade your equipment. So here's a little bit of like compared to Samurai Ghost, because Samurai Ghost is just straight up hack and slash. This has a little bit more, in depth with equipment management. But I will say, out of all the games we've talked about so far, this might be the cheapest because it is currently going, and it's not even on sale right now, but it's $2.99. So it's a $3 game.
And this developer, Psycho Seal, which shows a seal with like fangs for their icon, which is cool. Their other game is completely in a different realm. It's called O-Sheep, and like it's like a management sim type of game. Like a completely different realm. So cool though to see like these developers just like making cool shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that one's definitely on my wish list because I'm a big fan of like samurai swords. So I saw that and I was like, I've always been a big fan of like big pixel graphics. And this one right here though is an RPG,
Platform.
and it's an episode 1. So I guess this is like the beginning of all of it. But Luna Shattered Hearts episode 1, currently $2.99, not on sale. So I mean, it could be even cheaper. But this looks like a lot of fun.
I mean, this is something I was asked to note back in the Indie Gaming Gems when I was doing the weeklies. There's nudity in this game, so I don't know what type or what kind. I don't know if it's an eroge or what hentai, but there's mixed reviews, and usually that is indicative of them having like some kind of nudity in it.
I had to put in my birthday when I was getting B-roll. They're like, hey, are you old enough to see this, sir? And I'm like, absolutely.
I just like click next on them now and even put in my birthday. I just like, so it shows I was born in 92 according to the app. So this developer though has some really cool games. So they have this other Hostile Planet game that looks like an action shooter, but like 2D platformer style. Zillith. And then they have one coming out. It's called Death Trap Mountain. So like this developer is definitely one to follow, because you can follow developers too on Steam. Yeah, and so Yeah, they this game though that that we were just talking about with Luna. There's a lot of games, and we had an episode on it where we were talking like games that have similar names. And there's a Luna game that's a Metroidvania that's pretty popular. And there's Lunavania, and there's a so like the fact that they use a similar, easy to understandable word as the first defining factor of their game may have it get lost a little bit. I'm just hoping that it's sold decently to the point where they'll do an episode 2 in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough when they I don't know, like, when they make a game, they already make it like an episode 1. It's like, man, I hope there's an episode 2 if the game's that good because that would be tragic, you know? This kind of be left on us.
And that is the issue problem, the I don't even know the word for it, the trouble with naming things and numbering things when it's the very first. Like I called the Switch Collector Volume 1, and now I'm calling them year because it is the first year. But I actually put numbers on the spines of my complete books at one point. So the complete NES had a Volume 2 on it. And because it was my second book release and I did in Gaming Gems, that was number 1. But then it's like, do I continually in perpetuity always? But and it's like now I'm doing a different series. Like there's no the 30 books I don't have, the numbers on the spines. And so even the newer ones, there's no numbers on the spines anymore. But I started that, and so now like people might even be wondering, hey, when the hell did you stop numbering? No, a while ago. I think number 5 was the last number, which is the Virtual Boy book. And that wasn't my 5th book, mind you, either. That's the funny thing. Like that was like my 7th book or 8th book. But
Man, let me tell you, this game right here has quite the bundle attached to it, but this looks like it's right up my alley. It's a 2D shoot 'em up. Looks like a top-down shooter called what is that? Sneezy Gamer? Sweezy Gamer? Sweezy?
I thought Sweezy Gunner, Xander's.
Oh, I was thinking there's
He said, is it a sneezy gamer? Sneezy gamer? It's like Sweezy Gunner.
But yeah, this game.
The year of the scramble continues.
This game looks like a lot of fun though. Like it.
Yeah, it does.
But no, I wanted to mention the bundle because this bundle right here, like, looking at it, it's 30% off. It's like it's almost a $60. It's almost a $60 bundle, but holy crap, you get so many games in it.
13 games. Holy crap, man. And the developer Windy Beard, did they do anything else of these games? Did he do all 13 games? He might have. He's done a lot of them. And Sweezy Gunner, by the way, was released in 2014. This is 11 years old. 11-year-old game. That's what I'm saying. We don't cover. Typically, we hardly ever cover like brand new released indies. There's so many nobody's ever heard of that it's like we're just highlighting what we find that just piques our interest. And it's like, but there's games called Scud Frenzy and Droonstones and Ragtag. And so he has, the Beard has 7 games that are in the newer release section, all the way up to 2021. So it looks like since 2021, the Windy Beard has not released any new games in the last 4. Doesn't mean that he's not working on something, because games aren't made overnight. So, but nothing released on Steam since.
Hey, I mean, you get that bundle. I mean, you're gonna have plenty to play anyway. Like this 13 games. That's like it's a small little Steam collection right there. It's crazy.
Exactly. This other one, did we cover this game? The next game in the list, did we cover this before?
I don't think we did, but it looks familiar.
Yeah, because I don't know if we covered Anton Blast potentially, but this one is called Anton Ball Deluxe. And it's like a platformer with like Arkanoid style blocks on the side. And the character is like red face, which she looks like Wario with like red or something on it, on the actual graphics in game. There's a ton of DLC for this game. Like they had supported this game for a long time. It's $15 right now, and made by Summit Spear. This was released in 2021. It has a Neo Geo vibe to me. because of the single screen platformer, puzzle platformer style, and then you add in the arcade stuff. Because there was a ton of little like fun arcadey style games on Neo Geo that weren't just a shoot 'em up or a fighting game. And yeah, there were these weird ones. But did you watch the trailer of this game? It's the most 90s trailer I've ever seen. Literally a dude wearing the mask of it with a giant nose and like doing like the completely 90s style retro, which is super cool. Yeah, I assume that was some.
I had to add that to the B-roll for sure.
Oh yeah, like like doing that. So the thing is that Anton Blast was released late in December of 2024. So we might have covered that already. Like I'm sure that the listeners, viewers will let us know. Like, oh yeah, you guys absolutely already talked about Anton Blast. But Anton Vol Deluxe was on sale.
Yeah, it looks like something we would cover anyway. I mean, it looks like a lot of fun.
So oh yeah, Seven Spears one that I have followed now too, because it's just a really cool game. ASC Ascension or Ascension? How do you say this next game?
This is the Ascension.
Ascension. Ascension. Yeah, I'll say Ascension. It's a shoot 'em up, so it has to have a crazy one. But it's not just a shoot 'em up; it's a shoot 'em up Metroidvania.
Yeah, that's what was really interesting to me, because when I first saw it, I was like, oh, okay, it's a 2D shooter. Cool. But no, it's actually like a Metroidvania too. So
And this might have one of the craziest bundles of the episode. I would assume too. The game right now is $10. Was on sale. There's a $162 bundle with 66 games. So you're getting it for like $3 a game, $3 a game if you get all the bundle. The Psycho Flux collection. So Psycho Flux Entertainment is the digital publisher. That is insane. This game absolutely reminds me of a couple other ones, and it'd be funny is like you're like, oh yeah, they're doing so many Metroidvanias now, in this year or whatever. Game was released in 2021, so likely programmed during the pandemic when people were on lockdown, just like absolutely. But this game, like the graphics in it are so bright and vibrant, and like you have like the lines coming out like with like bullets and stuff, explosions, and has a lot of Geometry Wars vibes to me too, like with the visuals, but like more refined, way more refined.
yeah, this one here, I didn't really have a whole lot talked about because there was no video. There was no video on Steam. I was trying to get
Maybe it's in the there right now.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
I must have missed it somehow. But
And this guy has also done 3 other games: Split Bullet, Victorium, and Blindia. And I assume that these are all bullet hell rhythm. This one's a bullet hell rhythm based game. They're all like the same aesthetic by the same developer, which is crazy. Yeah, the first one was released in 2016. So
yeah,
sure. And
I see the video now. It's usually the video is like the first
stupidest. But there's 2 videos on here. Unless yours just doesn't show, because there's like 1, 2, there's one in the middle. Yeah, there's like 4 videos on this thing.
Well,
Maybe yours just didn't load. Sometimes Steam is wacky. Steam is wacky sometimes, so.
But it looks cool. It's got kind of like a very, very primitive kind of pixel art to it, but I like it. It's got character. It looks a lot of fun, and it's like $2.
Exactly.
Explore the vast island and skies, and get to know the factions that you occupy the island. There's 5 different endings as well, so there is some replayability.
It's crazy. Dude, there's so many games. Like, this next one is like crazy too. And I will talk about this one on the next episode as well, because actually I played it too since.
Is it? Yeah, I've also played this one.
The Shadows of Lir'Ah.
No, I did not play that one. I'm looking ahead. I'm looking at the Hunter's Legacy.
Yeah, so the Shadows of Lir'Ah is a action adventure exploration game, and it's $2 still. And so we won't go super in depth because next episode I actually did play it. It was released at the end of 2024. So looks cool as hell though. Yeah, let's move over to Hunter's Legacy.
Yeah, I played it a long time ago. I was trying to remember some of it, but I do remember enjoying it. It was a really cool Metroidvania.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's the one with the cat, right?
Yeah.
Catroidvania. Literally another one in the video where it shows like real cats, like zooming in on the cats. Like it's wild. Yeah, I definitely have not played it, but it's obviously I own it now, so it's in the backlog. It is it's a $7 game right now, and released by the cat man himself, Lienzo. Let's see if Lienzo's done some stuff. So Lienzo, another one, because Hunter's Legacy was released in 2016, so about 9 years ago, but as released Aztec Forgotten Gods, which I'm pretty sure we either covered or I did on Indie Gaming Gems. It was released in 2022, and then Mulaka, and I think one or both of those games may have a physical on Switch as well. So, since Hunter's Legacy has gotten out there a little bit.
Yeah, I originally played it on Switch. Hunter's Legacy, I played it on Switch when it came out.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I'm going through right now and looking up the next game, Joshua's Legs.
Yes, indeed. Joshua's Legs. What an interesting platformer.
Oh yeah, like literally you control the legs that like pivot, like two different grappling hooks almost, right?
Yeah, it's it makes me think of like an old school like Sega Genesis game. That's what made me think.
And it's just it definitely has the Genesis vibes because it looks like Vector Man, like it's cool.
Yeah.
But then it's like when you jump, you can grab onto stuff and like swing yourself and like grab onto the next one and you just attach and swing and find a commando style, but like done like in a new way. It's like Metroidvania parkour is what it says. So like you already got me at parkour Metroidvania, and it's just so cool. Like wild. What has Petite Studios done since 2023 when they released this? Nothing. Joshua's Legs is $14. Again, remember, at one point these were all on sale under $2. So this is wild. Getting all these badass games, like imagine the hundreds of dollars that you save if you just wait for Steam sales.
Yeah, it's the way sometimes that's the way to do it.
Now, have you played the next game? Have you ever played it?
Yes.
That's the classic. This one, to me, is in that legendary indie category.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of stuff. I mean, there's definitely a Vita release. There's definitely older releases of this. Terry Cavanaugh is the developer, which is cool. He did Dicey Dungeons too, and Super Hexagon. But like, it's VVVVV is like Atari style Metroidvania. It says Visceral platformer, 100% of Metroidvania though. Like, yeah, it's definitely gated exploration. Like, and released in 2010, so this might be our oldest game on the episode. 15-year-old game, which is
Frustrated was like it's right there with like Meat Boy and all those games. Like I remember playing it. I believe I played it on the PS3 a long time ago. Thinking back about it.
And it's like, it's wild is like this guy got, known because of these, but he also released this game in the heyday of indie. So this is like the Xbox 360 arcade era when indie was so this is when there wasn't 80,000 indie games a year you could get highlighted, and doing Dicey Dungeons is excellent too. And it's wild though, he released a game this year called Terry's Other Games for $10. So he just released it, and you might remember me from such video games as it's like literally another one where the trailer is like hilarious. But this looks like a game that's like a bunch of mini games in it. kind of looks like that. There's platformers and action games, and a lot of them look like Atari. I don't say all, because there's like one that looks like Myst or something. But they all have the Atari aesthetic to them. So Harry's other game.
Yeah, and this one here looks very TurboGrafx to me.
Uh-oh.
This looks very TurboGrafx, and I was not expecting it because I was just like, oh, Medusa.
Because of the name. Because of the name.
The Medusa. Yeah, you think you're going to be fighting No, you play as Medusa in this one.
Now, let's be real with it. Did you watch the video?
Yes.
So you have to show video. Characters like like the animation is, to me, it reminds me of NES Athena. Like the and it's like very, very crude animation. But it was under like $2 at the time when I bought it. It's still $3 game. But the map is gigantic.
Huge map.
Like the map system, it is huge. So that's what piqued my interest. Not necessarily the animation. The graphics look fine, but I mean, literally, when you're shooting the sword out of your belly on the animation, like it is very crude, very jank. And it was released in 2022. But this game looks huge. It looks like it has a ton going for it when it comes to different types of like items and weapons and abilities. Like the gated exploration looks like it's very, very focused. So and there's like gore and glitches. So like in the trailer, like why you gonna put up like glitching through a door in the trailer? Like to me, it's just like there's so much with it. And the thing is, no hate at all, because again, a game takes a long time to release. So there's no hate with it. It's just like, we will note if there's craziness to it, but there's a lot of charm into it, which is why it's on the episode.
And maybe the glitches itself, sometimes like they'll put glitches in games just to be kind of like, Easter eggy. Be like, you remember how like this one game had, you could only do it this way? Well, we're gonna add that to our game, because I really like the fact that you like turn enemies into stone and like just push them off cliffs.
Well, and it's crazy is we go from one game that the animation is crude to one that's like probably the best animation on the episode, best animation we might have covered on the show.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this one here looks really good. Getting some.
It looks wild. Tartopolis. And it has a noir look to it with black and white aesthetics. The character's like some big looking, don't even know what he looks like. Like crazy looking, almost anamorphic. I don't even know.
It's a very dark game, like not narrative wise, but graphically, it's a very dark game. Like it kind of made me think of like that graphic style makes me think of Limbo in that sense. Of like
looks like Sin City too.
Yeah, because it's very, very dark, but the light in the game is kind of what helps you see what's going on. It looks very crude.
And like looking at the second trailer, there's like a character front. It looks like a whale. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. Like a walking whale. It's just cool as hell. So you're in a big dark metropolis, Gotham City style, Sin City style, like. And it's a Metroidvania side scroller action based version, Souls like. But like the animations just look impressive. The really looks so good. I always wonder, like with these games, would they offer like a color like option, and then you can play it in color too, because it might ruin the aesthetic they're going for. But yeah, sometimes the black and white itself is like a turn off for people. It does help it set itself apart though.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine like sometimes it makes the games like just too hard to see, and say you're playing on Steam Deck and you're outside, might not be able to see what you're doing too much.
Exactly. Then we go back into the NES era with the next game.
Yeah, this game is what I call I meant. I remember I mentioned this in that previous episode. I called a long lost rental, and what I mean by this is like a game that you probably rented when you were a little kid, you forgot about 20 years later, you go to a convention and someone's selling it at their booth, and you're like, oh man, I remember this game. Muscle Loaded has that kind of aesthetic to it where it feels like something I may have played a long time ago, forgot the name of it, and I'm seeing the trailer now because it looks very nostalgic to me. This game looks.
Maybe you did because it was released 7 years ago.
I may have played it on Switch. I might have it on the Switch and not even realize.
I run out. But it is a Metroidvania with you have guns in it. To me, it reminds me of a lot of the TurboGrafx homebrew games that I've played. There's been a few on the TurboGrafx and on the Sega Genesis, but it's like you have like the backgrounds and everything. They have a lot of like shading and definition and graphics to the pixels. But then the character is just like, basic. He just looks like Ash from Army of Darkness, Evil Dead, but with like no face, and he's just like a simple, skinny, thin dude with guns. Like, but then like the bosses look like really bright and vibrant, like out of like Blaster Master almost, but like Blaster Master 0, like where it has all the added bells and whistles. Like definitely would not have been released back in the day, but there's like the last screenshot's like a giant crocodile with like you can fit in his mouth. So I'm like, this game is wild, and it is released by Jordan Keith. Current is $2. So if it was on sale for 1% off, I would have bought it. The $2 game though, and he also did another game in 2023 called Primal Threat. Primal Threat is another exploration Metroidvania, but there's 2 characters. Okay. So that looks pretty cool. And that game is $5. Primal Threat. There's a demo for it. So this Jordan Keith developer has released 2 games, which is neat. I don't think I have that one on my list, and I'm not like logged in on the tablet that we look at for the episode. So I'm gonna have to remember that one right there to add, because yeah. The next one though has the weirdest like it's like, you ever see the craziest box art on the Super Nintendo where you have the dude playing the banjo and it's a shoot 'em up called Phalanx, and it's like dude playing it like that's with this bizarre cat rescuer.
Yeah, I was gonna read the
But
description. The description itself will grip you, and it says a strange homeless-looking man unsuccessfully tries to escape from an equally strange, schizophrenic, self-destructing world in 10 minutes, saving cats along the way. It's completely unclear what is happening, and it will not become more clear. Like, you won't figure it out.
and like, if you're showing the trailer right now, it is a LSD trip. Like, there's just colors and mushrooms, and like there's literally this homeless dude's like surfing on the ground.
He looks like the Big Lebowski.
And then he's like going upside down on platforms, and he's got like it is like, this game is insane.
It's like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas with the Big Lebowski and his love of cats. That's
It's an acid trip.
Yeah. But it looks like that's the only game they made.
Well, just remember, Xander, somewhere between Barstow and the desert is when the drugs begin to kick in, and we play the bizarre cat rescuer. Like, holy crap, that game looks insane. Ninja Cat is the developer. Ninja Cat has not done any other games besides for Bizarre Cat Rescuer, but like, that is wild.
Maybe that's all they had to do, though, man. Like, you just play this game and you're all right, I'm done. All right. That
Mike Trout, that's all I ate.
You just made Michelangelo's painting. We're good to go.
Dude. Holy crap, that just looks insane.
Yeah, it does look really good. And it's a nice, affordable game. This makes games polar opposite. You go from all these colors, like you're tripping on mushrooms, and then you're going straight into like some Atari-ness right here.
To me, it's not even Atari-ness. We're talking Blockbot, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like cell phone game.
Yeah.
And this is one where, like, going off the genres on Steam, it's not quite accurate because it says it's a Metroidvania. Yet when you look at it, there are screens that have levels. So it's level by level based puzzle platformer is what it is. It's not, because you have to have open-ended exploration to have a traditional Metroidvania. An example of a game that is still a Metroidvania, but non-traditional, and has level-based, is Sydney Hunter and Curse of the Mayan. Like that one has a hub world, but you go back into hub worlds when you get the new abilities to do new things. This looks like it's level by level, doing time-based, like on a cell phone style game. But it still looks fun as hell. There's even like little like levels and sections in it that are like Flappy Bird, like going through like little portions. So it still looks cool as hell. It's not a traditional Metroidvania as it says on the page. So as long as people are aware of that. This guy's also released another game like a couple weeks after called Mini Monsters Gravitational Consensus. This is another casual game. But this one's more action adventure, but you like rotate the rooms in circles, which is cool. So that game actually seems a little more interesting than the Block Bot puzzle journey game. But Block Bot Puzzle Journey still looks fun. Still looks fun as hell. Shape-shifting puzzle adventure in a vibrant pixel world.
Yeah, and this game right here, I had to put this on my wish list because this game looked really, really cool. I was really surprised with the main character because I don't feel like the main character really fits the aesthetics of the background, but I'm here for it. System Purge. Because you look at System Purge and the background. What's that?
The name, number one, very generic.
Yeah, System Purge. The backgrounds look very like Metroid, sci-fi, but you play as this like
cyberpunk witch girl. Anime witch girl in a cyberpunk dark noir aesthetic. Horror, action, zombies, dark indie, but it's a female protagonist that has a little witch hat.
Yeah. It looks really, really weird when I first saw it.
Well, like there's a spot where you're getting chased by a giant chainsaw coming to like destroy you. Like it is crazy. They have also released the Tarnishing of Juxia in 2022. Which I don't know if we've ever talked about that one, but that game is amazing too. Like the Tarnishing of Juxia is an awesome Souls-like action RPG. Fat ass game. So if that game plays anything like Tarnishing of Juxia, if System Purge does, it is a treat.
It looks very, very fluid with the controls. I feel like the controls look buttery smooth. I mean, that's always the first thing I'll look at. It's like the character animation. Like, is it going to be choppy? Is it going to look weird? When they jump and everything. It looked really nice. It just threw me off. Like the background and the character threw me off.
Well, when I look at the first couple Steam achievements, they look like Virtual Boy. That's pretty cool. It was released in 2022 as well, and then the developers Actual Nerves. Actual nerves. Yeah, it's 97% positivity rate too. So people have loved the System Purge game. I mean, it's like $5, and it does go on sale. So I mean, I am looking up the Legends of Tinnedale, and this is another one where there's lots of the Legends of, so it gets lost in the sauce, but. This is a dungeon crawler action adventure game, has overhead. So in other words, Zelda-like.
It kind of roots back to what we were talking about Newtopia earlier. If you're a big fan of Newtopia, this might be a game to check out. Because, yeah, it does have it does have that classic top-down, Zelda aesthetic. You play as a dude with blue hair, Looks fun. The music was very cool.
It is a demo. $7. $7. Released in 2022 by Ed Den Gaming. But yeah, I mean, I love Metroidvanias and Zelda-likes. I mean, literally the tattoo is Metroidvania and the Triforce. So Metroid Triforce and the Flame Whip from Castlevania 2. If you haven't played the fan hack edit of I think revamped is what Castlevania 2 is. That is the first and best pack of Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. Makes it playable, man. Makes it playable. But yeah, this game right here, like Zelda style, looks awesome. I'm looking forward to diving into it. And this last game is freaking crazy. Freaking crazy.
Yeah, Battery Samurai.
This is so
my alley.
fast-paced samurai platforming action. The graphics look crude, which I love. It reminds me of like a PC game, just like with all the like pre-generated backgrounds, but then you have like the tiled underground with like tons of tiles instead of like a solid background in the underground. It just reminds me of classic PC. But you're running as a samurai on crack. Like it just looks so cool.
It is one of those like early. It looks like one of those games I would have played back in the day on like Newgrounds. Like back when I was in school, we would like sneak around and go on like Newgrounds or E-Bombs World. You know those old websites that would have like the stick figure games. That's what it makes you think of, which it is oddly nostalgic. You know, thinking back now.
Freaking awesome though. But yeah, like that's such a cool game, and that's the perfect one to end on for this crazy ass episode, longer than normal episode of the Indie Credit Podcast. Like, I mean, my story did go a little long. You can cut that down, but no, it's so many cool games, and it's proof positive though. If you create an awesome wish list, wait for some sales. They like come in bulks. Like every season, you get a crazy sale time because like last one was Christmas and now it's spring, so there'll be a summer sale too. And we're still in the spring sale for Steam. It's just not necessarily the indie games that we have in our wish list that are under $2. There's a ton of sales right now.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure the folks that are listening are probably filling up their wish list right now. And we before we close, we gotta thank the Patreons. We gotta thank the folks that are supporting the show.
Executive producers.
Yep, you get all the goodies, and it's free to join. Jeff's Patreon. It's free to join at Hagen's Alley.
Yep.
But and that'd be a great way for you to know what Jeff's up to, what I'm up to, because chances are I'm probably doing something with him, which I know, like I upload the podcast Incredibles, upload it on my YouTube channel. And I just want to say, because I had one of our Patreons or one of your Patreons message and be like, oh yeah, I was listening to the podcast on Patreon. I didn't know it was on your YouTube channel, Xander. But I'll just say, regardless, as long as you're listening to the Incredible podcast, I'm happy. You know, either you're listening on my YouTube channel or on Patreon. But
well, and the thing with it is that like when we do the editing, we do it in stages, and we upload immediately, so I don't forget because I'm gonna go to work and then forget. And Xander uploads it like in the middle of the week usually after he finishes it up, and it's just more opportunities for people to listen to us.
Exactly. So we want to give a big shout to everyone that supports, and especially these folks coming up right here.
The executive producers, Lir'Ah. I don't need to look.
Oh yeah, I don't have the list in front of me, but I do know Burner Turner.
Burner Turner, you do know them, and then we have David Isherwood out in the UK. Probably knows all about this Amiga stuff we're talking about.
We have
the guy who just but the next one is the guy that commented that he watches on Patreon, and that is Lunchbox, aka the Disgruntled Gamer. And then of course the classic Jesse Glenn himself, the latest. We did have a new non-executive producer as well. We have a producer now, a new producer as well. And just the first one, because March is about over, the first for the producers and above, the first goodie package is going to go out. And this week, the Disgruntled Gamer did get the quiz that we had on one of the latest episodes correct. Which pixel was missing on the TNC Surf Designs pixel that I had created, and he got the exact pixel correct. And so he's the first one to get it right. on there from the listeners. So we had a few people participate, but he was the one that got it right. But when he sent me the image, it was funny. He didn't send me the image from TNC Surf Designs. He sent me the image from a Bobo's Big Adventure, the awesome one, because like the hair's like slicked back in that version. And I'm like, oh, that's not the right one, but it's the right pixel that's missing. Great. So that might be a hint of the main item that I'm going to submit with everybody's package this time. But when I do the producers and executive producers, every quarter you get something really cool, and I'm going to throw in one main item, and then I work on stuff all the time, so I'm going to throw in some cool tchotchkes, which will be like one-offs for everyone. Not everybody's going to get the same thing. Like I'm always working on different projects and different ideas. And so you will get those things, such as what I show off when I do my games of the month and stuff. I'm making extra items and things. And of course, if I get a hair up my ass, maybe they'll get an Indie Credible Podcast poster. I haven't even sent Xander his yet. It's sitting on my table waiting to go to Xander. And Xander doesn't even have his. I actually have my coffee mug on mine. This one's a slate, but I do them in wood as well. The Indie Credible Podcast. So yeah, Xander's is sitting on my my table out in the living room. I was like, I gotta send that to Xander. Yeah, so Xander, his package will go out to you. Now, and then keep in mind, of course, the executive producers, as a thank you for supporting throughout the year. At the end of the year, we're going to do an exclusive wooden book cover for the book of their choosing. It's got to be like unanimous or majority consent, and something that I can realistically do. But it'll be the book cover for one of the books that I've released. It could be a new one, an upcoming one. It could be an old school one that everybody has. It'll be their choice, and I will make it custom. And also, it would be custom numbered as well. So it would be out of however many we have, it'll be numbered 1 of 5, or 1 of 4, or 1 of 7, or whatever we have every year. So that way you can be like, I have this one-off thing because I supported Indie and Hagen's Alley on Patreon. And I think that's cool.
I was about to say, and yeah, the Patreon's the best place to go to know what's going on, because I do this show with Jeff, but even I forget like what he's doing, because he's always doing something. Was there's always something going on. So that's the best way to stay in touch and then to keep up on what's going on, because 1 week you like Jeff's just like, hey man, I'm doing some wooden pixel art. I'm like, wait, what? So
and so like we don't need the traditional outro we were using on some of the episodes anymore. And it's like you follow us on there and keep in touch, because as we talked about at the beginning of the episode, like all my books moved, which means Hagen's Alley is now relaunched, revamped, and all of the shipping prices are re-estimated for the new place. So they are, right now lower than they have been in years. And I'm going to try to do the same thing. Next episode, we're going to have something cool at the beginning that I'm going to talk about that's going to be launching. And by the time it airs, maybe have launched. Kickstarter. Hint.
Well, guys, I want to thank you for listening to another episode of the Indie Credible Podcast. Be sure to join us for the next one. And as always, support Indie.